Hello, everybody. I will be starting here in a minute. Give it a few more seconds for other people to join. So, all right. So let's kick off the tonnage reporting season. We are starting to do these webinars to kind of help do a refresher, since you guys might only see uh, um, the portal every once in a while, every 6 months or so. Can I get somebody to verify that you guys can hear me? It sounds like somebody might not be able to, so I just want to verify. All right, sounds like a bunch of people can be able to hear me, so it might be a audio issue on your guys' end. So my name is Chris Berg. I am with the Feed and Fertilizer Bureau with the Iowa Department of Ag. I specialize in the feed licensing side of the industry. So the fertilizer will be a little bit new to me, but I am experienced with the portal. And if we'll try to tackle the questions, if we can't, I may refer you to Lloyd or April with those more technical questions, since my specialty is on the feed side. So we'll get started here. I like to kick it off with just kind of giving a face with a name. If you ever call into the office, our bureau chief is Alan Keller. Bill Gamble is our grant administrator. I'm Chris Berg. I'm the feed guy. Lloyd is our fertilizer administrator, and then April Good is our administrative assistant and took over Sophia's role. And Sophia was lucky enough to become a stay-at-home mom. So today's objectives for this meeting, just kind of go over the tonnage reporting, what's expected, and then we'll go kind of do a portal demo so you guys can have a refresher on what it is, or if you're new to the portal, some of the tips and tricks and maybe areas that you guys haven't found yet. So let's see. So we'll start off with the tonnage report and inspection fee. The tonnage is the product, so it's the quantity of fertilizer sold in or into the state. So it's the quantity or the count, where the inspection fee is the money. So it's the fees collected based upon the distribution of fertilizer in or into the state. It's the money assessed on the quality of the quantity of fertilizer sold or distributed, commonly called the tonnage tax. We got some definitions here. The first one is, what is the definition of fertilizer? So fertilizer means any substance containing one or more recognized plant nutrient which is used for the plant nutrient content and which is designed for use and claimed to have value in promoting plant growth, except unmanipulated animal and vegetable manures, or calcium and magnesium carbonate materials used primarily for correcting soil acidity. The definition for soil conditioner is any substance which, when added to the soil or applied to plants, will produce a favorable growth, yield, or quality of crop or soil, flora or fauna, or other soil characteristics other than a fertilizer, recognized pesticide, unmanipulated animal and vegetable manures, or calcium or magnesium carbonate materials used primarily for correcting soil acidity. So I'll go over some of the, there's a lot of 200, Iowa Code 200 information. And if there is any questions, you can just write them in the comments. just so we can keep track of those so nobody forgets. And we'll go over them at the end, but if it gets a little complicated for a simple feed guy like me, like I said, we'll defer you to Lloyd or somebody to get your answer. So for 200, about the inspection fees, I'll read it. Bear with me. It is a regulation speak, so it is kind of difficult to read. So there shall be paid by the licensee to the state for all commercial fertilizers and soil conditioners sold or distributed into the state. An inspection fee to be fixed annually by the Secretary of Ag at not more than 20 cents per ton. Sales for manufacturing purposes only are hereby exempt from fees, but must still be reported showing manufacturer who purchased the same. Payments of said inspection fee by any licensee shall exempt all other persons, firms, or corporations from the payment thereafter. So we only want the payment once. Part B, on individual packages of specialty fertilizer containing 25 pounds or less, there shall be paid the manufacturer in lieu of semi-annual inspection fee as set forth in this chapter, an annual registration and inspection fee of $100 for each brand and grade sold distributed into the state. In the event that any manufacturer sells separate specialty fertilizer in packages of 25 pounds or less, and also packages of 25 pounds or more, this annual registration and inspection fee shall apply only to the portions sold in the packaging of 25 pounds or less, and the portions sold in packaging of 25 pounds or more shall be subject to the same inspection fee as fixed by the Secretary of Ag as provided in this chapter. Part C, any person other than the manufacturer who annually offers for sale, sells, or distributes specialty fertilizer for the amount of 4,000 pounds or more, or applies specialty fertilizer or compensation shall pay an annual inspection fee of $30 in lieu of the semi-annual inspection fee set forth in this chapter. So part 2, every licensee and any person required to pay an annual registration and inspection fee under the chapter in this state shall A, file no later than the last day of January and July of each year. And then on the forms furnished by the secretary. And with it being furnished, it does mean online or if you asked for it in paper, but we are trying to get everybody online. A semi-annual statement setting forth the number of net tons of commercial fertilizer or soil conditioners distributed in this state by grade or each county during the preceding 6-month period. And upon the filing such statement shall pay the inspection fee at the rate stated in the subsection 1 of this section. However, in lieu of the semi-annual statement by grade for each county, as hereby provided, the registrant on individual packages of specialty fertilizer containing 25 pounds or less shall not file no later than the last day of July of each year on forms furnished by the secretary in the annual statement setting forth the number of net tons of specialty fertilizer distributed in the state by grade during the preceding 12-month period. Or B, if the tonnage report is not filed or the payment of inspection fees or both is not made within 10 days after the last day of January or July of each year as required by the paragraph A of this subsection, a penalty amount of 10% of the annual due, if any, shall be addressed against the licensee. In any case, the payment shall not be any less than $50. The amount of fees due if any, and the penalty shall constitute a debt and become a basis of judgment against the licensee. Part 3. I'm going to just kind of summarize that any fiscal year equal or exceeding $350,000, the Secretary of Agriculture shall reduce the per ton fee going forward. And then part 4 talks about the groundwater protection fee being imposed on nitrogen-based fertilizer, and it's based on a percentage of the nitrogen contained in that product. So why do we collect the information? What does it get used for? So it is, just like I read, it is required by the Iowa law, Iowa Code 200.8. It does get posted publicly at least annually. Only the tons that are distributed in or into the state get posted. We don't release company information or company totals. The universities and researchers use it for trends, seeing what's being used out in the marketplace that year. And then we kind of use it internally just to judge volumes from year to year and kind of a high level auditing just to see, okay, why are they so high this year, but next year they dropped a bunch, seeing if you guys lost a facility or something along those lines. So, and that something needs to be changed in our system. Late fees, we've been pretty lenient on them the last 2 periods just because of the new portal. This year, this time period, we are going to start becoming a little bit more stringent and not giving such a grace period for the things. So late fees will be charged. I think I had this date wrong. I think it is February 11th, not February 16th. So if you procrastinate or aren't getting email reminders, it is still the company's responsibility to be on time. So you might want to set up your own reminders or emails just to make sure you don't forget that. And if you do need any assistance during the whole process, don't hesitate to call us. We want to get that issue resolved as soon as possible, just so you aren't considered late. And if it is something that is causing it on our end, we will understand that and we will give you that grace, but not if it's just because you forgot about it until March. So any questions so far about the tonnage reporting? We will come back to the portal demo here shortly. So I just want to see if there's any questions before I keep on rambling on. There's one. Hello, for our tonnage reporting, since we are a manufacturer as well as a distributor of other manufacturers, do we report fertilizer tonnage for all fertilizer sold or solely our proprietary line? So that kind of, I would say, depends on what the agreement with the other manufacturers that you're distributing for. So if they are paying that tonnage, then yeah, you would only have to pay what you are first distributing. We don't want that tax twice paid to us. So if you can work it out and you know they're going to pay their portion on what they manufacture, and so then you would only have to worry about what you manufacture. All right, we'll go back to the portal. So a little background on this portal. I started with the Bureau in June. So in April, they started designing and building this program. In August, we started using it internally. And then in November, we started the first part of the rollout to the public for you guys. And since then, we've had 2 full rounds of tonnage reports. We've had feed label submissions through it. We've had fertilizer label submission and renewals through it. So it should get most of the kinks worked out. I'm not saying they're all gone. So that's why I say if you run across anything, don't hesitate to call us, because it could be an issue that's not just affecting you. So, and now we're heading into our third round of reporting. So, and then, so why did we switch to this online system and not using paper anymore? So what happened is when I started, we had 5 different databases that were all doing different things. So this helped consolidate all those different databases and helped us get it into one. It also created an ease for information submitting, so you guys can submit it in real time. It allowed for online payments. We have ACH credit card payments, and you can still mail in a check if need be. It gave us the ability to store the small package labels internally instead of in filing cabinets. It gets the information processed faster. I know on the feed side, we turn it around within fairly fast. Fertilizer, I think Lloyd is, I don't know what his time range is, but it's faster than what it would have been in the mail. So it does give the companies the ability to print licenses once they're approved, so you don't have to wait for us to mail and hang them up. It does reduce our paper usage, and it does keep our taxes down because of the lower labor costs. So we don't have to hire extra administrative help to enter all that information in, and then also stuff envelopes and do all that kind of stuff. But it also does remove human error on our end as we're typing it in, so nothing gets mistaken in our database. Some definitions for the portal and the tonnage. No sale means if you do not distribute any product in or into the state of Iowa for the period which you're filing, you'll just be able to check that box, and it'll give you the minimum fee, which is 0 for fertilizer unless the late fee is applied. And then total tons distributed. Every ton that you are distributing needs to be listed in this area. Even if you're going to exempt those tons out, they need to be listed in total tons distributed. Just consider that total tons distributed like a bank, and that you are able to pull those exempt tons from. You have to have those tons in there to be able to pull it from. The way the math works is it takes your total tons and then subtracts the exempt to give you your net tons, and you can't have a negative balance. And then you also need to make sure that you're not using potash 1 and exempting out anhydrous and counteracting both of those. So you need to have that up in the total tons distributed to exempt it out. All right, so this is a picture of me when I was a kid. Just kidding. But I know a lot of us felt like this when we were using that portal. And sometimes we did internally too. So that's why we wanted to help you with this portal demo. All right. So this is what the portal looks like once you log in. It'll have your name in there, and then all these boxes, it'll look identical. This view dashboard is the kind of the saving grace of the whole program. Everything gets saved in here. If you started on Monday or Friday when you just want to look at what it opens, but you want to fill it out on Monday, the tonnage reports, it only allows you to open one for that time period. So it will be saved in here. And then everything else, if you ever start something and need to come back to it, it'll be right in here. So you'll see all these different documents And if you want them cleaned up, just give us a call. We can work on deleting and cleaning that up so you don't have 100 like I do on the demo. All licenses, this is where you're able to print them. If you go to all licenses approved, that'll be the only tab you're able to print a license from. So you'll just come here, hit that print license button, and it'll make it into a format so you can have that print off at your office. If you're expired, suspended normally it means that you maybe forgot to do a tonnage report at some point, or you're missing some type of documentation. So if you're in suspended mode, it's just telling you that you need to do something to get it back to approved. And once you submit that tonnage report, it'll automatically jump back to approved status. Expired means that your license is out of date and expired. Everything else is kind of self-explanatory on that. If you do have labels, they will all be stored here. So there should be one here. And this is a pet food one, just because that's my specialty, but it looks the same for a fertilizer label. If you need to edit something, you just hit that edit button. You can delete out the old label, put a new one in, or any other information in there. If you need to cancel this label, you're able just to hit cancel and it'll remove it from being renewed the next time. And then we did bring over about 10 years of data on our tonnage reports. So if you go to that tonnage report tab, you will find about the last 10 years and be able to see what you've done in the past. There is filters on some of these that you can kind of go through and select if you want to search by company. If you have multiple companies, or if you're both fertilizer and feed, you can select by type. So that option is there too if you have multiple different companies. New or renew licenses. We're not quite to the renewal time. We'll go over that next period. The new licenses, if you ever need a new facility, you can be able to go on here, select the company, and you'll be able to add your information. If you want to start a new company as a whole, separate it from your original one, just call and let us know. We can go in, create a new company under your name, and then you'll be able to hit that and enter in all the information. We are having a little issue with our contact information. So it does not allow you to select a primary if you don't have one already selected. So we'll just have to do that on our end. If you call us, we'll have it done by the time we're off the phone. So it doesn't take too terribly long. And you just go through that process to create your new facility. If you need to add any new labels, you would do it right in here. Again, you guys aren't at the time period to renew your labels, so I won't worry too much about that, but you will just select a company, do the fertilizer, and then you just add your label there. So it'll have you enter in your product name, your weight, your NPK, and then drop in your file of your label, and then select if it's a small package or not. So pretty simple process. I'm pretty sure these applications hold 150, so I doubt any fertilizer company will be reaching that. So you can add multiple labels underneath one application, and this would be considered one application. So tonnage reports, the reason we're all here today, you'll just select your company, the type of tonnage report. We'll do the time period for July through December, since that's the one we're going to be doing, and then you just create it. It'll auto create. You will want to do these, make sure you're on Google Chrome. These reports do not show up if you're not on Google Chrome. So that's kind of my first question when people aren't seeing it, I just ask if you're using Google Chrome. Normally that will fix your issue. Up here you'll see no sale. Toll mill only is for the feed side. It just gets carried over because we're trying to keep it as similar as everything. So you'll just use the no sale if you use that option. Total tons distributed, you hit add line item there, and you just have some predetermined options if you think that'll fit in them, any of yours. Otherwise, you can hit other and you can enter in your percents for that. If you scroll down, you just enter in your total tons. So I'll just do potash 2 and then total tons of 100. And then you just hit add item and it pops up there and it auto fills all that information for you. If you're exempting out a company, you just hit your add line item there. You select your company. I'm just choosing one at random that popped up. I'll do potash 2. And then I'm going to exempt 25 of those. And then you hit add item. So, and then that'll be one facility or one company. If your company does have multiple facilities, you will start seeing lines down here. That'll open up the same exact picture that you can do. Break it out by facility. If you have all your information joined together already and you don't want to break it out, put it all underneath one, but you still have to go into each one of these facilities and hit no sale because it will not let you move forward without it. So, and if you do hit no sale now, it will delete everything in here. So you don't want to do that. Then you'll see up here, it does the calculation for you. You got your total tons of 100 that I entered in. I exempted 25 out, so it gave us net tons of 75. And then with the rate of 17 cents times that 75, it gives you the total fee of $12.75. So then you just hit your save and next. This is the one part that a lot of people forget, is that save and next up on top. And then you see this payment option. Even if you're zero, you still got to go to that save and next and hit payment, pay and submit. So you can do your ACH credit card payments. That'll open up those to enter that information. If you select check payment, it'll pop up this little window. This gives you your address to send the check to. And then, so don't go speeding through that section. So in case you need to write down that address, you got it. And then you can hit submit and it'll submit that report. And then that's just now going to be sitting for us waiting for your check. So, and then if we hit it back into that view dashboard, you'll see that we have that fertilizer one entered in there. So it already is saved in our system here. Company information. This is where if you need to change your address or anything like that, you're able to come in here and edit your address. On the facilities, it only allows you to change your mailing addresses. So if you do need to change your physical address, just send us an email and we can get that changed for you. Doesn't take too much for us to do it. So, but we do like to have you guys keep your mailing addresses just in case we need to send anything out. Request an inspection. This is for egg handlers, so you guys can just ignore it unless you do handle eggs. Frequently asked questions. This is where you can see some step-by-step instructions, video tutorials, any frequently asked questions. So that'll all be in there if you ever need more help. Manage users. This is another big one. So this is where, let's say I have this company, I hired a new person that takes care of all the regulatory information. I'm just gonna name him Joe. Actually typing Smith. And then I'll just make up an email of js@google.com. So then if you select active and you save it, that automatically sends that email a link to set up a password so they can get access into the portal. So now let's say Joe Smith quit our company. So we'll just go and edit, and we just hit active. We uncheck that box and we save it. That removes all access that he'll be able to have to that portal. So any access he would have had to that company, he cannot be able to view it now if he tried. So that's why it's very important. If you need help, you can always give us a call. We can help you clean up your contacts, but you're able to at least change the active part of it so they aren't allowed to do anything to screw up anything. So that is the portal as a whole. We do have another section up here. It's the search licensees. You don't have to be logged in to see this. It will be there even on the login page. But if you select it, say I want to look for a fertilizer company. If you know the name, you can type it in and it'll be able to give you an address. Or you can pick a county and then you'll be able to hit search. And it'll pull up all the fertilizer licenses we have in that county and the possible addresses too. So if you're needing something or if you want to check if somebody's licensed, this is how you do it. We do not give out license numbers, but we do give you the information to check if they are. So, and it looks like there was 2 pages of that. So, and if you want to look up on a map, you can scroll over here and you can zoom in and see where they are on the map. So that is the portal in a nutshell. All right. So I got the contact information here. April will be able to help you with some portal information or help find answers for you. I can help with portal. I don't know about finding answers. And then Lloyd, if you got any technical questions, he's our fertilizer guru and can help you with almost any technical question you got. But for the portal, you might be better contacting April or me, just because Lloyd's good with technical. He's not quite, he doesn't use it as daily as we do on the portal. So he'll might get to an answer, but it will be able to do it faster, I think. So thank you for listening. Before we get to answering too many questions, I just want to wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling anywhere, drive safe, and we'll get to answering some questions for you. All right, we'll start with this one. If we sell to another company and they label and package our products with their own marketplace label, then distribute it to stores to sell to the end user, we required to register or hold a registration with you or report the tonnage. I would personally say that, and this one might be better answered from Lloyd, but if it's their label on the product, they would be the one that needs to register it. So that's the way we are on the feed side. So that's why I'm saying that answer. If you want to clarify that with Lloyd. He'll be more than welcome to answer that. Reporting tonnage, I think that would be a deal. That would be probably an agreement that probably they would be reporting the tonnage, but as long as it's being reported by one of you guys, it doesn't matter who actually does it to us. And if you guys want to ask a question in person, just use the hand emoji and I can unmute you. That way we don't have everybody talking at once. Now I gotta find them. All right, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Christy, are you able to talk?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
I have two questions. And the first one is there a fee for zero tonnage? And that would be, is there a credit card fee for reporting zero tonnage online?
So if you have zero tonnage, you wouldn't need to do a credit report or credit card. But no, we do not have a credit card fee or ACH fee associated with it. So yeah, even if you have a $5 fee, you would still only owe $5. We do not have a fee associated with those online payments.
Okay. Yeah. The second one is managing users. Can you specify that one is for like registrations, one person does the tonnage, one person does renewals? Can you do it that way?
I wish. We tried to get everybody so we can kind of differentiate that within us too. No, so I'm hoping everybody gets the email, and that way the person that does the tonnage will see, they might see all the emails, but they are most likely going to see every other email too. So, and they can just ignore the ones that they aren't associated with. But unfortunately, no, we can't differentiate them quite that well yet.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Let's see. You know, that's question of it. It is only commercial fertilizer that needs to report tonnage, or specialty as well. I believe it is the commercial fertilizer. I am not well versed in what actually all needs to be done. We were actually having that discussion this morning, but both people that know that answer are not here in office today. So if when the time comes, we should have that answer. So if you want to give us a call or something, we will be able to answer that here in the near future when people get back into the office. We've had some medical issues lately, so that's why they're not in office right now. Christy, did you have another question, or is your hand just raised from before? Okay. If we have an expiring license, can we do it online? I see the license, but I don't see how to renew it. All right, so let me go back. Give see if I can share my screen to help you with that one. So I won't be able to help you too much on this just because I have no licenses able to renew. But if you go to, if you're not on mute, can you please mute yourself? If you go to the new or renew licenses, you just hit that license renewal application. So I don't have any that are able to renew. It'll pop up pretty much like a checkbox of which ones you want to renew, and it'll kind of take you through those steps, have you double check contact information and everything else. Then if it's not allowing you to renew it, just give us a call. It might be a checkbox on our side that needs to be checked. So just let us know if we need to give you more assistance on that. Here's a question. We have a client that sells his manure with a 200A license to Hi Brother, who spreads it. Do they need it to report the tonnage? I would say the first to distribute. That's my golden rule. Unless there's a deal worked out between you and the person purchasing, the first one to distribute. So I would say the client, if they have a license, would be the one to report the tonnage. If they don't and they're relying on your license, then you would be the one reporting the tonnage on that. Here's a question. My understanding is that prior to the portal, you had to report the location, acres of field that receive manure through the 200A, but the portal has no space for this. Is this no longer required? I'm not 100% sure on this answer. I don't think it is required anymore, but if you want, you can always put that information in the comment section. So, but that might be a perfect question for Lloyd or Alan, just to see if it is required or not. But I only was able to be here for one round of the papers, so I'm not too vested in what was on the old paper forms. Does anybody have any more questions that they want to ask or want to type in the chat filter? So on the tonnage reports, what is the exempt tons? So the way I look at it as is if you got the tons, but you know somebody else is paying for it, we don't want those tons paid twice. So you can exempt saying that X company is paying for these tons and I'm only responsible for the tons that are left over. So are products sold to formulators subject to tonnage fees? That's a good question. I am unsure on how that works with the fertilizer side. So that might be a good question for Lloyd or Alan, or if you want to call April and she can get you that answer too. So sorry, we didn't have an answer for that one. Well, if I don't see any more hand raised or questions, oh, the cost of the late fee, it's $50 minimum, and then it's also 10% of the total cost. So if you're under $500, it'll be $50, and then if you're over that, it'll be 10%. Yes. The question is, are your tonnage reports still due February 10th and August 10th? Yes, they are still due then. I believe how it's worded, it's like 40 days from the day it starts. So yeah, those would be the correct days. The question, why is the grace period for tonnage over? Just because this is going to be the third round of using the portal. So a lot of the grace period questions were, or the reason we gave it was because they weren't used to using the portal yet. We've had a year into the portal, so most people should be well vested in kind of understanding what the portal is and where it is, and how to do the timelines for it. So we just kind of got to keep our regulatory side with having those dates in the code. We got to keep following them. So that's why if something major happens, we're not out to get you. So if you have a good reason, we will be sometimes lenient, but if not, we will enforce those late fees if it's just that you procrastinated or forgot to. So any questions, or else we'll call it a day, and I'll give you 13 more minutes back to your day. So everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be talking hopefully at some point during the tonnage season. So
thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.